Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Niar. I'm from class A, PMPBI 2021, State National University. So this is my final project and English language education planning and evaluation. The topic is degree of comparison. The context of the learners are the 8th grade student in the second semester, and at this level, students are assumed to have basic knowledge of English that have been taught from 7th grade and the first semester of 8th grade. They are also familiar with the online learning methods, application, and the resource book that used in this class. And I will talk about the basic competencies, learning outcomes, language focus, and material development. The basic competencies, it took from National Standard K13, and I took 3.9 and 4.9. There are some words that I have highlighted. The words in green are the main verbs, which are lead to the type of communicative activity that students are expected to do. They are menerapkan, menyusun, dan memperhatikan. And the yellow ones are the nouns which lead to the language focus of this learning, which are fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan, tindakan memberi dan meminta informasi terkait perbandingan jumlah dan sifat dari orang, binatang, dan benda, atau degree of comparison. The indicators that derive from of learning outcomes that derive from KD 3.9 or 3.9 is identifying, categorizing, and applying. So this is, I took these words from Bloom taxonomy, the identifying part. So student expected they can identifying social function, text structures, and linguistic elements in the use of degree of comparison. They also can categorizing types of comparison degree and applying degrees of comparison to acts and state the comparison of the number and adjective of people, animals, and objects in daily life. And indicators of learning outcomes that derive from KD 4.9 is composing simple sentences about the degree of comparison according to the context, collaborating in groups to create a short and simple dialogue about comparison degree according to the context of its use, and role-playing the dialogue about comparison degree according to the context of its use. And the language focus is about social function. Social function of degree of comparison is to express the comparison of people, animals, and things, and the text structure is the term of positive, comparative, and superlative degree, and the language element that our expected student can is noun and adjective vocabularies, comparison adjective, and quantity of comparison. And in this lesson, students expected to have these skills, writing and speaking skills. And the material development. So for the first learning outcomes, identifying social function, text structure, and linguistic elements in the use of degree of comparison, I will play a video entitled The Most Important Things from YouTube, and I will ask students to watch and take notes on comparative sentences. So they will identify the sentences that contains comparative degree, and they take notes. And after that, I will ask them to describe their notes about the sentences that contains degree of comparison. And the next learning outcomes is categorizing types of comparison degree. So after watching the video and they state their opinion, I will ask them to read together with me, to read the resource book uh, that theme that theme is bigger is not always better, from When English Rings the Bells for 8th grade. So in this book, there is a complete explanation about degree of comparison and the categorization. And then student can ask anything about degree of comparison, and I will explain the question. Next, for the learning outcomes and applying degrees of comparison, we'll ask student to fill or trying to answer the quiz in word wall in this link, and it's about the comparison of degree. And the next learning outcomes is composing simple sentences about the degree of comparison according to the context. So I will back to the book, the resource book, When English Rings the Bell, and I will ask students to put the words in this book to the table of positive, comparative, and superlative degree. So they will put the right words in the right table. And I also ask them to make 3 sentences about positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree based on the words that they already put in the table. And after that, I will ask the student, I will divide student into several groups, and I will ask them to collaborate in groups to collecting information about the comparison adjective. So they will put the words in the table as you can see, and then I will divide them into four teams. That will make dialogue, short dialogue about hospital, restaurants, schools, and supermarkets. So they will role play to be teacher in the school, to be chef in the restaurant, or to be nurse in the hospital. After that, they will present their dialogue in the front of the class, I mean in the Zoom meeting, and students from other groups can respond to each other roles play. Last but not least, in the end of the class meeting, I, together with students, will reflecting what have been studied in this meeting, and I will ask students to write the reflection on the learning process in reflection journal from the resource book. So the main references is the book of When English Rings Bell. This is written by Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia. And this is another other references that I took for this project. Thank you for your attention. Waalaikumsalam.